there's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
It all began long before the film hit theaters. The moment Disney announced Rachel Zegler would play the beloved Snow White, the internet lit up with passionate reactions, some excited, many skeptical. Critics argued that Disney was veering too far from tradition, while supporters applauded the choice of a rising star with impressive vocal talent. But any positive buzz took a harsh turn when old clips of Rachel surfaced, where she described the original prince as a stalker and the 1937 cartoon as extremely dated. Longtime fans were stunned, feeling as though she was disrespecting the very movie that set the gold standard for Disney animation. Suddenly, what was meant to be a fresh reimagining looked more like an unsolicited teardown. Meanwhile, rumors circulated that Gal Gadot, cast as the evil queen, was not entirely thrilled with the negativity overshadowing the film's potential. Though the two actresses initially appeared cordial, industry whispers suggested something was off from the very start. The tension only grew when observers noticed Rachel was uncharacteristically missing from certain promotional events where you'd expect both leads to stand united. Some speculated that Disney deliberately kept them apart to avoid fueling the gossip that they were at odds. Yet, that separation just made fans more certain that something was bubbling behind closed doors. As release day approached, advanced ticket sales told an alarming story. Snow White was on a fast track to failure. And when the final numbers emerged, far below Disney's expectations, the hunt for a scapegoat started in earnest. Producer Mark Platt's son, Jonah Platt, wasted no time placing the blame on Rachel. From his perspective, her outspoken political posts and abrasive commentary on the film's legacy had alienated a huge swath of Disney's family-friendly audience. He described her online persona as narcissistic, suggesting that her endless social media spats and controversial remarks did more damage than any marketing campaign could repair. Fans across the internet weighed in, with some agreeing that Rachel's candid style was ill-suited to a role historically associated with innocence and charm. Others countered that the movie's failings were much bigger than a single actress, pointing to remake fatigue and a script that never quite captured the whimsy of the original. Regardless of which side people fell on, Rachel found herself under an ever-intensifying microscope. Critics dug up every questionable tweet, while supporters claimed she was simply modernizing an outdated fairy tale. In the midst of the chaos, Rachel's co-star Gal Gadot maintained a conspicuous silence, fanning the flames of speculation that she might be just as frustrated with her on-screen princess as the public seemed to be. Transition. But things went from tense to explosive once rumors surfaced that real-world threats forced Disney to step in with heightened security measures and stricter PR control. According to insiders, Disney had begun to panic even before the box office numbers were official. With mounting controversies swirling, especially online, executives feared the bad press would overshadow the movie's core message. There were talks of rebranding the promotional campaign, focusing more on Gal Gadot's star power and less on Rachel, who was quickly gaining a reputation for sparking internet firestorms. Yet, the studio found itself in a bind. Rachel was the face of the film, the titular Snow White. How could they minimize her role without generating even more scandal? Things allegedly took a darker turn when Gal Gadot received serious threats online. Given her background in the Israeli Defense Forces, many labeled her a polarizing figure in global discussions. The tension escalated further when Rachel tweeted "Free Palestine," igniting a wave of backlash from people who saw it as directly antagonistic to Gal. Sources claim that Disney responded by increasing Gal's security detail to ensure her safety at public events. But Rachel also faced threats and vitriol, to the point that the studio supposedly brought in additional protection for her. 2. Producers reportedly arranged a meeting where Mark Platt confronted Rachel about her social media activity, urging her to dial down the controversy. Instead of backing down, she stood her ground and refused to delete the posts, emphasizing her right to speak her mind. For Disney, this was a nightmare scenario. Their leading actress was caught in a political whirlwind that overshadowed the film's entire narrative. By the time Snow White premiered, any hopes of a smooth opening had vanished. Fans who once condemned Rachel's casting were now infuriated by her remarks about the original film. Meanwhile, those who stood by her were disappointed by Disney's half-hearted attempts to support her. With each passing day, it seemed new screenshots emerged on social platforms, showing rows of empty seats at theaters around the country. On top of that, viewers noticed something else. Rachel and Gal Gadot were barely seen together, even in official photos. At Gal's Hollywood Walk of Fame celebration, Rachel was nowhere to be found, fueling the theory that Disney was steering them to opposite ends of the map to keep friction under control. Whether it was truly a personal feud or a studio-imposed strategy, fans devoured every snippet of potential drama. Critics, meanwhile, were torn over what doomed Snow White more, an aging live-action remake formula or the off-screen fiasco swirling around its star. Phrases like woke and broke started popping up online, reflecting a belief among certain viewers that the movie's attempts at modernizing the classic tale had fallen flat. Rachel became a lightning rod for frustration. To some, she symbolized Hollywood's tendency to tamper with timeless stories. To others, she represented a bold new generation unafraid to speak up, even if it ruffled traditional feathers. By this point, Snow White had garnered a reputation for all the wrong reasons. Social media became a hotbed of heated debates, with hashtags condemning or defending Rachel appearing every time she posted a single sentence. Gal Gadot, for her part, took to various outlets hinting at the hate and bots online, but stopping short of naming anyone directly. That unspoken tension spoke volumes to fans who had been scrutinizing every sign of discord since the film's announcement. In a move that surprised almost no one, Disney kept its official statements vague. They neither praised nor publicly chastised Rachel, making it clear they were distancing themselves from the mounting drama. The once close synergy between actress and studio evaporated as ticket sales continued to drop. Meanwhile, Rachel posted cheerful behind-the-scenes snapshots on social media, celebrating the crew and smaller supporting roles, yet conspicuously omitting Gal from her tributes. Audiences began sharing their conspiracy theories that Disney was grooming Gal as the film's main star all along, sidelining the nominal Snow White in favor of the more bankable evil queen. Others argued that the studio simply realized the damage was too extensive to salvage and hoped to recoup losses through merchandise and future streaming deals. Either way, the emptiness in theaters was impossible to hide, and the widespread backlash underscored a new reality. The typical Disney magic was nowhere to be found. At the center of it all stands a complicated reality. Disney has struggled to reinvent its classic IPs, with each live-action remake drawing more skepticism from weary fans. Could it be that audiences are simply done with the formula, and Rachel Zegler became the easy fall person? Or is the actress's unapologetically strong online presence exactly what catalyzed the backlash? Gal Gadot's reported frustration suggests the studio's internal conflicts went deeper than one person's tweets. Perhaps Disney wanted to reshape Snow White for a modern generation, but stumbled into a messy collision of politics, tradition, and clashing personalities. One thing is certain, the fiasco exposed the growing power of social media in steering or derailing movie campaigns. What once might have been a minor PR headache turned into a full-fledged crisis as fans tracked every post, interview, and rumor. There's also the possibility that this fiasco will change how Hollywood deals with outspoken stars. Will studios become even more controlling, insisting that contracted actors toe a safer PR line? Or will bigger names demand the freedom to speak on polarizing topics, forcing companies to adapt to a new era where audiences expect real authenticity from celebrities? In the end, Snow White isn't just another box office flop. It's a stark reminder that a modern spin on a classic can spark firestorms that even the most influential studio may not be prepared to handle. The film's performance at the box office is only one measure of its impact. The off-screen drama, featuring Rachel's defiant tweets, Gal Gadot's cautious silence, and the uproar from fans around the globe, has reshaped the conversation on how these timeless fairy tales fit into our rapidly changing world. Whether Rachel Zegler is a misunderstood trailblazer, or an overzealous performer who took things too far, her involvement has left an indelible mark on Disney's attempt to revitalize one of its most beloved stories. Perhaps one day the controversy will fade, and Snow White will be remembered purely for its cinematic qualities. Or maybe the fiasco will stand as a cautionary tale for studios gambling on classic remakes in an era where every word spoken by the cast can echo around the internet within seconds. For now, audiences are left wondering, was it all just a symptom of remake exhaustion, or does this drama signal a deeper shift in Hollywood culture? No matter your take, one thing is certain, this live-action retelling has become a story in its own right, and it's a story that's far from reaching its final chapter.